In 1528, a nobleman and soldier who had been wounded in battle now wished to become a churchman. To obtain the necessary academic credentials for this new life, he enrolled as a student at the University of Paris, considered the most innovative university in Europe at the time. He was almost 40 years old. I guess we would call him a non-traditional student today. The nobleman's name was Ignatius Loyola. While there, Ignatius was assigned two younger men as roommates, Francis Xavier and Peter Faber. After their studies concluded, these 3 and 4 other friends from the University of Paris founded the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. I tell this story because the Jesuits were born in the university, and higher education has been a part of the Society of Jesus since its founding. In fact, the Jesuits were such skilled teachers and administrators that they became known as the schoolmasters of Europe. And thanks to people like Francis Xavier, Jesuits became known as learned men and scholars across the globe. This tradition of educational excellence, innovation, and scholarship has remained a part of Jesuit higher education for almost 500 years. Anyone who teaches at a Jesuit university like Canisius becomes a caretaker of this tradition, which embodies values such as cura personalis, or care for the whole person, magis, or the greater or fuller, and contemplation in action. One part of this tradition refers to a particularly Ignatian method of teaching, or pedagogy. Ignatian pedagogy, or Jesuit pedagogy, is modeled after Ignatius's influential spiritual exercises. According to this model, good teaching requires attention and care for 5 key things: context, experience, reflection, action, and evaluation. I'll briefly review each one. First, context refers to who we are teaching. Specifically, what makes each individual student we teach, advise, and ultimately mentor, a whole person, includes their totally unique constellation of strengths, challenges, character, and life experiences. To care for each of them as a whole person, then, means to embrace that unique value in how we interact with them, and the effort we put into our academic relationships with them. Be it in syllabus policies, classroom conversations, or office hours interactions, caring about context should prevent us from seeing or treating any student as a mere number or someone not worth our fullest academic effort. To the extent that we can, we want to reach each student where and how they are situated. Now, one way to reach each student is to care about creating learning experiences that can connect to their unique lived experiences. Appropriately enough, that's what the second element of this pedagogy, experience, is talking about. Learning at Canisius goes beyond mere memorizing and recounting facts. Through intentionally crafted assignments, discussions, and activities, we hope to generate meaningful impressions in our students' minds, ignite their curiosity, and move them beyond caring only whether or not some things will show up on the final. The third element of Ignatian pedagogy, reflection, naturally follows from this. To find where and how what we teach is relevant, our students need opportunities and guidance to think about how the content they are learning connects to and perhaps challenges their experiences and beliefs. Opening up spaces for reflection may seem counterproductive to a content-driven class, or a stretch to pull off depending on course topics. Nevertheless, it remains the most direct means to meaningful and, indeed, transformational learning, which Jesuit pedagogy strives to generate. Reflections drive transformations, which then show up in the fourth factor of Ignatian pedagogy, action. By this we mean that students should be encouraged to take seriously how what they learn needs to make a practical difference in who they choose to be and how they choose to act in the world. This is what the Jesuits mean by contemplation in action. Now, this is all well and good, as long as it works, but as the context changes, so too do the experiences, as does the effectiveness of the reflections, and accordingly the actions we can expect as a result. Whether our classes require us to keep up with current research, or if they are probing students with perennial questions, we need to be sensitive to changing realities in front of us. For this, Ignatian Pedagogy encourages one more thing: thoughtful evaluation of students, of our institutions, and of ourselves. Evaluation does not only mean grading and assessment. Rather, it connects those necessary practical elements of teaching to the larger enterprise of transformational learning. In doing this, we follow in the tradition of that 16th century nobleman turned churchman who came to God late, but through prayer, study, friendship, and reflection, soon learned to find God in all things, in each person, and through all experiences. In so doing, he inspired his friends then, and I hope inspires us today, to do the same, and, having been transformed, to go forth and set the world on fire.